of Winning with People by John C Maxwell. And in today's review, we're learning the bedrock principle. Say the bedrock principle. Yeah, that's it. The bedrock principle talks about trusts. So we're actually asking the question, can we build mutual trust? That is the trust question that we are asking. Right. Can we build mutual trust? It is the spiritual trust is the spiritual inspiration that comes to one when you discover that someone else believes in you and is willing to trust you with a friendship. So the next question we're asking is, why do relationships fall apart? Why is it that some marriages that began with great passion come to a bitter end? It doesn't just end, it ends bitterly. Why is it that friendships scatter and people go their separate ways? Friendship that people hope will last for a lifetime. Why is it that it falters and dies? Business partnerships that began with promises come to a disastrous conclusion. Why is it so? The reason for such breakdowns are many, but the cause that outweighs all others is broken trust. Once trust is broken, it is so difficult to regain. Right. So how do you define trust? According to the Webster New World Dictionary, trust is a firm belief or confidence in the honesty, integrity, reliability, and justice of another person. Right. You may not know what trust is, but you definitely know what trust is not. If somebody lies to you, then you know that they are not worthy of your trust. If they steal from you, they are not worthy of your trust. These are obvious reasons or obvious patterns of trust. But then there are so many other ways that we know if somebody is not trustworthy. So what kind of person must you be in a relationship in order to be worthy of another person's trust? Because we all talk about trust. We want people to trust us. But the question is, are you trustworthy? What must you do to earn people's trust? These are some of the things that we're going to be learning in this review. And the first way to learn about, building trust, earning people's trust, or becoming a trustworthy person is the bedrock principle. This is the foundation of everything, right? So the bedrock principle says that trust is the foundation of any relationship. If a relationship is faulty from the beginning, if trust is lacking, that relationship cannot last. Both of you are going to be suspicious of each other. You are going to be watching each other. Any little move is going to raise eyebrows, right? So trust is the foundation. It is the bedrock. Before you build friendship, before you go into business partnership with anybody, before you get married to somebody, there must be trust. Otherwise, it is safe to say that both of you are just wasting your time. So trust is a greater compliment. It is a greater compliment to be trusted than to be loved, says George M. MacDonald. So the question I must ask myself is this: am I a trustworthy person? So ask yourself that question. Are you a trustworthy person? Let us quickly examine the story of a man called Jason Blair. He was a promising young journalist in secondary school. He was liked, he was energetic, he was hardworking. These are some of the qualities that his school principal remembered about him. He said he was wonderful. He was positive. He was persistent. He was really admired by everybody. In fact, when he got to the University of Maryland, he quickly got an internship position with a top newspaper company in America. And that was the New York Times, And then everybody also liked him there, even though they found him to be a bit sloppy with his work and all of that. But because he was full of potential, he was hardworking, he knew what he was doing, he was good, right? So they helped him to overcome this weakness. They quickly helped him. His editor or his superiors would complain that, oh, your work is sloppy. Your work is good, but it's quite sloppy and all of that. There are errors here and there. There are discrepancies here and there. But nobody was really paying attention. Nobody to some of the details that were missing. They just felt that, oh, these are just, minor mistakes here and there. Although somebody raised it, that see, there must be accuracy in your work. Accuracy is the bedrock of our work. It is what we sell. as a newspaper company. So make sure that your work is accurate, right? So this guy quickly rose through the ranks because he was actually good at what he was doing. He was so good at his job, right? And then somehow he was able to handle a story, a national story. He grew from rank to rank and became a well-known person until one day he landed in big trouble. Someone noticed that part of a story that he submitted from southern Texas about the mother of a slain American soldier were remarkably similar to the story that another reporter had written several days before him. And that raised an eyebrow like, what exactly is going on? So that made an editor from the San Antonio. Okay, so it was an editor from the San Antonio Express News who had published the original story. So they started digging. Could it be a coincidence? Could this be a mistake? Could this be something? So the newspaper, New York Times, took a closer look at Blair's past work, all the works that he's been doing. So now they were starting to connect the dots, all the sloppy works he was doing, all the errors and discrepancies in his previous works that they thought, oh, these are just errors. Maybe he just didn't pay enough attention to this. So they started digging and they found that 100 of the more than 600 articles that this guy had written for the New York Times had problems or needed significant corrections. That means that he had been sitting down somewhere in his apartment and fabricating stories. He would claim that he was on assignment, he was reporting, he was gathering information, he was interviewing people. But no, that was not what he was doing. He was plagiarizing other people's work. He was copying their works. He was fabricating stories. He was telling lies. Right, they found so many things that were wrong. He had fabricated parts of the stories. He would use photos and other news sources. He would plagiarize other reporters' work. He even filed false expense reports. He would say that, oh, he incurred this expense or expenses traveling to this place to go and cover stories. Meanwhile, he was sitting in his apartment in Brooklyn or so. Right. So when the story broke, it was a huge impact on the company. A huge impact, you know. But then they tried to find a way around it to say the work of one person cannot at least mess up the works of 375 others, right? So what we are bringing out of this story is the issue of trust. No matter how talented you are, no matter how good you are, in fact, be the #1 expert in your country. If you lack trust, your works will catch up with you. Your lies, your deception will catch up with you, and it's going to destroy all the good works you have been doing, all the praises that people have been giving to you to say, oh, you are the best. It is just a matter of time. Somebody wrote now that a ticking time bomb. That is exactly what it is. It is going to be a ticking time bomb, right? That is it. There is no other way of looking at it. Somebody said about him, he said, his story is that of a guy who disrespected his profession, cheated his readers, deceived his editors, and stole from his peers, period. Any other way of looking at it lets Jason Blair off the hook. There is no other way to look at it. That is the simple truth. So don't deceive people. He eventually wrote a book when he had been found out, when his secret had been leaked to the open. Then he decided to divert one of the stories that he was writing into a book. He thought that he could also make money from his lies. So the publisher actually first ordered the first printing of 250,000 copies, thinking that, oh, he was going to make a big story, he was going to sell. But within how many days? 9 days of selling the book, they were only able to sell 1,400 copies. That means that nobody was buying what Jason Blair had to say. They were not buying into his lies anymore. They did not even want to spend money buying into his lies and his deception. Can you imagine how the crook of a guy still wanted to make money off it? That means he was not sober, he was not repentant, it was in his blood. So trust me on this. If you boil relationships down to the most important element, it is always going to be trust, not leadership. Trust first. Whether in friendship, in marriage, in business, whatever, it is trust. If you don't have trust, your relationship is in trouble. Here is why. #1, trust is the foundation of any relationship. Integrity is the basis of trust, which is not so much of an ingredient of leadership. It is not about leadership. It is getting people to know that if you say something, they can meet it like that. Right? So trust is one quality that cannot be acquired. It must be earned. There is no point saying, oh, trust me, trust me, trust me. Then let your actions speak for you. Let your words speak for you. It is given by co-workers, followers, and without it, a leader cannot function. Right? If the foundation be destroyed, what can you do? So don't ever build anything on lies or deception. Number two, trust is the frame of any relationship. Trust is what will hold your relationship firm. Most relationships that eventually break up is because trust is lacking. The frame is broken. What is supposed to hold the relationship, keep it going, is broken. So if you want to enjoy the beauty of relationships, frame it with trust. Don't start it off on lies and then think that it will keep standing. It will not stand for long. Number three, trust is the height of any relationship. If you want your relationship to go far, then make sure that it is built on trust. When two people trust each other completely, the relationship can grow to the level of friendship. And that is something that is rewarding. It is as rewarding as anything in life. Right? Earning the trust of other people. You must know this. Trust begins with yourself. We learned about the mirror principle. Anything that you see about other people must start with you. Right? To thy own self be true. That is what Shakespeare wrote. To thy own self be truth. Be true. If you are not honest with yourself, you will not be capable of honesty with other people. Right? So trust yourself first. Be the person that you want to see in other people. Number two, trust cannot be compartmentalized. You cannot say, oh, I trust me when it comes to business, but when it comes to relationship, you are not trustworthy. You cannot be a saint in church. When it comes to business, you keep swindling people. You cannot be compartmentalized. You cannot say, oh, in this area of my life, I am a trustworthy person. In this other area, no. If you are a trustworthy person, it must be all round. You cannot choose. You cannot select which areas that people must trust you in. Number three, trust works like a bank account. Trust is like a bank account. You have got to keep making deposits if you want it to grow. The things that you say to people, your actions, you did, you are making deposits. It will keep growing over time, earning interest. People will be watching you. Are you consistent in what you say? Right? People are watching. Sometimes you think that they are not watching. I remember a professor when I was doing my master's degree. I would greet him, he would not answer, not knowing that this guy was actually watching me. I was shocked the day he called me and, he started saying certain things that, oh, I like your work, I'm impressed. This is somebody that I would greet and he would just snub. He would be like, oh, he did not hear. Meanwhile, he's been watching. We eventually built a good relationship. He actually, was the first person that gave me my lecturing job when I was done with my PhD. He would not let me rest. He now trusted me so much. He believed so much in me. So people are watching. Be making deposits. Make deposits. Do enough negative things due to your lack of character and competence, and you are bankrupt. You have nothing left in your account. And that spells the end of that relationship. Now ask yourself, am I making deposit? What kind of deposit are you making? One lie here, one truth there, one deception there, one falsehood there. It's only a matter of time. People will stop trusting you. Then ask yourself, am I making withdrawals? If you think that you are not making good withdrawals or you are betraying people's trust, do this quickly. Apologize. Let them know that it is not in your character. It was probably a mistake. Then ask yourself why you broke trust. Correct the issue in your life. Recognize that it takes longer to restore trust than to lose it. Remember that trust is restored by deeds, not just words. Let your actions speak. Okay, be a friend indeed. Just like Tom was to John Maxwell. Be a friend indeed. You stand by somebody. You don't betray them because somebody has offered you money or position. Like we see in the world today, trust is something that is lacking from your co-workers, from your employees, from anybody. Not anybody per se, but from so many people, trust is lacking. It's a big deal. I hear so many business people say that, oh, my issue is, my issue is getting honest employees, trustworthy employees. People are abroad, say, oh, they don't want to do any business back home because people are not trustworthy. You keep sending them money to maintain your business. They spend it. I hear these stories a lot. And these are the same people in our churches, in our mosques, everywhere. Right? So we must ask ourselves, who are these people? Are they not the same people like us? Where do they come from? Right. The higher you go, the more difficult. Okay, that was Tom talking to John Maxwell. Right. Let me jump quickly to the end. If you are reluctant to trust, what if you are reluctant to trust other people? Maybe you are a honest person, a trustworthy person, but then you find it difficult to trust other people. Do these three things very quickly. Forgive them. Because you are in the right, you have the power over the other person. Don't abuse that power. Forgive them. We all make mistakes in life. Then number two, explain that the violation must never happen again. Forgiving them does not mean that you continue to allow them to hurt you. Explain to them that you are not pleased with what they did and they should not repeat that. Give them a second chance. I mean, if you're willing to, but try to. They may have made a honest mistake, right? Number three, remember their better moments. Somebody who broke your trust doesn't mean that there are no good things about the person. If they willingly apologize and they're ready to change, they're repentant, and you start watching them, right? Remember the good things that they've done for you. We all have our highs and lows. It takes maturity to treat people according to their best qualities. There is a great relief in trusting others. So if you desire to forgive and begin trusting again, then take to heart these words of Henry L. Simpson, who was the former U.S. Secretary of State, a former. The chief lesson I have learned in a long time is that the only way you can make a man trustworthy is by trusting him. If you tell people, oh, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you on this, before they know it, they become conscious of that, oh, somebody is trusting me, let me not mess up, right? And the surest way to make untrustworthy, to make him untrustworthy is to distrust him and show your distrust, right? So the author is not saying that we're not going to get hurt. You might, but he's saying this: you will never experience the joy that comes only from relationships unless you are willing to give trust a try. So trust people and make yourself a trustworthy person. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of this review. Don't forget to like this video, share your comments with me, and please subscribe to this channel in case you yet subscribe. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady, and on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. Right. I'm not going to come your way tomorrow. We're not going to have a review tomorrow. We'll come again on Wednesday, right? And then we're going to look at the situation principle. It is going to be another interesting review. Until then, be intentional. Bye. You're welcome. You're welcome. The integrity of the operation guide them. Proverbs 11:3. Thank you, Lumi. Welcome. You're welcome.